You're not just a mom, your power, your flame. From tired to thriving, from silence to song. With YDC you belong. Let's start living, rise again. You are more than just a pain. Confident, bold, unashamed. Your discovery coach, remember the name. You're strong, you're seen, you're free to dream. YDC, 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 remember the name. Hey mama, you're more than enough. Hey mama, stand tall, you've given so much. You gave your all, now it's time to shine. You've been in the shadows, now step in the light. Rediscover your voice, take back your name. You're not just a mom, your power, your flame. From tired to thriving, from silence to song. With YDC you belong. Let's start living.
And hey, mamas, let's start living, rise again. Thank you so much for joining me on another Friday Live. My name is Debbie Echo, and I'm the founder of Your Discovery Coach. I create safe spaces where women who feel invisible, unheard, unseen, just tired of being, just tired of disappearing in your own life. I create a safe space where you can come and find yourself again. Find that dream. Let's start living. That's what I keep saying. Hey, mamas, let's start living. And I say that for a reason, because a lot of times we women give ourselves to everything and everyone, and then we forget to build our own dreams. And then somewhere along the line, you're just wondering, why am I resentful? But yeah, we have to take charge of our own narrative, design the life that you want to live. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about when misalignment speaks, the sound of a life out of sync. It was an interesting question that came into my mind this morning, because I was just asking myself, what does misalignment, if misalignment had a voice, what would it sound like? You know how we say, how we say certain things have a sound, right? The sound of disappointment, the sound of rain. But if misalignment had a sound, what would it sound like? So it was interesting to me, because I said to myself, if you know the sound of misalignment, then you should, you take it as data. You start to walk towards, why am I feeling, this way or that way in a certain way, and just trying to rearrange your thoughts, rearrange yourself, rearrange your data. I mean your life. But when you don't know what it sounds like, when you don't know what it feels like, when you don't know when it's appearing, then there's a challenge. I often say that awareness is key. Awareness is the first step to taking any step to trying to make your situation better, to make things better for yourself. So let's just go on. If misalignment had a sound, could make a sound, what sound would your life sound like right now? Would it be loud, or would it be quiet but constant? Because sometimes misalignment doesn't scream. It doesn't scream. Sometimes it whispers. It can sound like overthinking. It can sound like forcing things. You drag yourself to do things. You're not doing your day-to-day living with joy. You feel like there's some heaviness around you. It could feel like a sigh. Oh, I'm here again. No, there's no sound of joy around, what you're doing. It could feel like, or it could sound like, I'm tired. So, you're just waking up from sleep, but you're already feeling tired. That could sound like, a misalignment. It could sound like living a life that looks fine on the outside. Hello, thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon. It could also sound like living a life that looks fine on the outside, but doesn't feel right on the inside. There's a certain heaviness. Let's just drag through the day. Everything is monotonous. There's no joy. There's no laughter. There's no pleasure in your day. You could be doing things, and you're doing things from a place of heaviness. You could be doing things, and you're doing things from a place of, can you hear that sound? Sounds a lot like misalignment. Because when you're doing something you really love, or when you're living a life that you truly love, It shows in the way you carry, in the excitement that you have for it. It shows in the way you carry yourself. It shows in how you're willing to do more for it. So today we're going to listen. We're going to listen properly for the first time. I'd like to talk about the weight of misalignment, because sometimes misalignment doesn't just sound like noise. We said that it sounds like weight. It could feel heavy. It could feel heaviness in your marriage. It could feel heaviness in your parenting. It could feel heavy in the way you wake up and already feel behind. You have not even started the day, but you're already feeling like one more thing to do today. There was something that came to my mind as I was preparing my notes. And misalignment might also sound like you want to do something, but you're already wary about it. Say, for instance, you set a goal. You already are wary about that goal that you're setting, because it feels like every time you set a goal, like it's just typical. I don't actually reach my goals. So what's the point? It already feels like failure, even though you haven't started. So you're setting the goal. You know the right things to do. You know the right things you want to do. You know what you want to do. But it just feels like another one more thing to fail at. That could be the sound of misalignment. And the hardest part is that you know the life that you want. You have a vision for the life that you want. You have a dream for the life that you want. You know it, you can see it, you can feel it. You can almost touch it in your imagination. But the version that you are right now doesn't just feel right. There's always that gap. There's that gap between what you know you can achieve, what you know you can become, and what you are right now. And that gap can feel like a stretch. See yourself dragging toward during the day and all that. It could be like that wide, painful gap between where you are and where you know you're meant to be. And then the heaviness that lives in that gap. It shows up in your body, it shows up in how you carry yourself. It shows up in the size that even you don't notice anymore. There was one day when I told my daughter to do something, and she she sighed. And I looked at her and I realized, oh, she didn't get it. It wasn't a random sigh. She didn't get it randomly. I had probably, unconsciously sighed, so much that she had picked it up. So I said, where'd you get it? She said, that's how you do. I said, oh, okay, today I changed my ways. So I'm not talking to you from a place of perfection. I'm talking to you as a woman who has gone through these things and has found a way to, align to what I am supposed to be, so that we're not dragging through the day, because your children are seeing that drag, your children are hearing that sigh. A lot of times they even interpret the sigh as, mommy, are you angry with me? Mommy, are you sad? Mommy, do you like me? When they start asking you such questions, then there's something they're sensing. Children are very intuitive. They're very intuitive. They ask you, mommy, are you angry with me? Mommy, have I done something wrong? So they're watching they're watching your body language. They're watching how you respond to things. So you may not even realize that you're sighing, but the weight of that misalignment just makes you feel like, what's there? What I'm just, the role becomes heavy, because you know deep down that there's more to your life than what you are right now. And what you are right now. You tell people that you're fine, but you're nowhere near fine. Your default answer is I'm fine, but are you really, really fine on the inside? It shows up in your energy, in how you drag your feet through your own life. You know the right things to do. You know that you're supposed to do X, Y, Z. But when it comes to yourself, you find yourself, you're dragging your feet. It shows in how your goals feel so exhausting. I've said that before, that you're putting up one more goal, but you're telling yourself, is it not, it's not, you might not say it out loud, but your mind is like, starts to say, is that another thing we're going to fail at? So you find out that you're not able to go through, because you're already heavy. You can't meet those goals with that kind of heaviness. And it's not because you're lazy. A lot of times it's not because we're lazy. It's not because, we don't know what to do, or we don't know the right things to do, or the whatever it is. It's because somewhere deep down you're just thinking that, is this something else that I'm going to fail out? Is this something else? Is this another? You see, when especially when you're waiting for something, right? You're waiting for something to happen in your life. You're waiting for, the weight can feel heavy. You're waiting for, sometimes we are waiting for our children to grow out of a certain stage so that we can do more. But I would say, you see, that waiting can put a weight. Why can't you do what it is that you can do, while you're waiting? It's that posture of, ah, this thing feels heavy. That's all that I can think of, this thing feeling heavy. So you hesitate, you slow down, you overthink. Not because you don't want more out of life, but there's just no push. There's a misalignment. Misalignment makes everything, feel very heavy. And then misalignment will make a good life feel very hard. To make a good life feel very, to make everyday living feel very hard. When you wake up without knowing, just your role is beyond, being a mom, just putting food on the table, getting everybody ready. When you're not living in the fullness of that which you were you were born for, then living becomes very hard. Life becomes very hard. And it's not because your life is wrong, it's because you are no longer aligned to who you're becoming. You are carrying things that you've outgrown. You are showing up in roles that no longer fit. You are forcing rhythms that don't support you anymore. Things become very hard. And then your body knows. It knows the heaviness. It feels the weakness. That heaviness that you feel. It's not that you're lazy. We've said that. It's not weakness. It's just information. When you start to feel this way, when you start to see that you can't meet your goals, you can't do what you need to do, don't put yourself down and say that that's failure. Actually, what that is just information. It's just information telling you that this is heavy because you are no longer carrying, you're not carrying what is yours to carry, you're not carrying what you need to carry. So let's see. So if you're feeling misaligned at this moment, you're listening to me at any time, you're catching a replay, you're listening to me, and you're feeling a sense of misalignment, what I have said has spoken to you, you feel a sense of heaviness, you feel a sense of you're dragging your feet through your days, you're dragging your feet through life. The question is not what is wrong. You don't ask yourself. So sometimes we find ourselves asking ourselves, so I don't even know what's wrong with me. I don't even know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's happening to me. The question is, what is out of alignment? Ask yourself, what is out of alignment in my life? And let's name it. I would like to talk to you about the 5 sounds of misalignment. The sound of static, nothing, just everything is static, nothing is moving. Mental misalignment, when your mind is busy, but nothing is moving. You see yourself, you're constantly busy. You're constantly doing things, but nothing is moving. You're not making any progress. You're not making any headway anywhere. Nothing is moving. You're thinking about everything, but completing nothing. You have so many uncompleted projects, so many uncompleted books, so many uncompleted to-do lists. You are consuming, you are not creating, you are overwhelmed, but you're not progressing. A noisy mind is not a productive mind, it's often a misaligned one. So ask yourself, where am I misaligned? It's not about right or wrong here. It's not about, you being off. You're feeling, once you start to feel off, ask yourself, where am I misaligned? The truth of the matter is that a lot of times it's not a question of doing more. Sometimes it's just a question of seeking clarity. So you're not confused, you're just disconnected. Find out where you're disconnected. Find out what systems are no longer working for you. The second one is the sound of a strange note, identity misalignment. When you are showing up as a version of yourself that you no longer fit. Sometimes you've outgrown certain places, you've outgrown certain relationships, you've outgrown certain friends, you've outgrown certain people, but you don't want them to say anything, or you don't want to lose them. You don't want to lose those friendships. You don't want to lose, that situation. You don't want to lose that environment. So you now start showing, playing small. You show yourself, but you're showing yourself smaller than you really are. You play small, you shrink, You still try to play, Miss Nice Girl, but you're no longer there. So identity misalignment. Are you finding yourself in environments where you're no longer, where no longer grows you, or where no longer serves you? When you are growing, your growth requires identity updates. I shouldn't come and meet you at the same point at every time. That would be an error. And you shouldn't apologize for the growth. You shouldn't apologize for for stretching yourself. So when you find yourself that you're beginning to explain yourself to your friends, or to the people around you, or to your circle, or this is why, just know that you have outgrown that. And that's why it feels like a strain. They start to tell you things like, oh, you've changed, or it start to tell you things like, da, 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 da. And then there's friction, there's noise, a strained note, identity misalignment. You're still, you don't need to try to become who you used to be. It's okay to change and to move on. The sound of a creaking door, avoidance. You know what needs to change, but you keep delaying it. You know that this is the thing that I need to change. You know that, I need to tweak this part of my routine. You know that I need to add this to my routine. You know that I need to stop making certain calls. You just know needs to happen. You know the right things to do, but somehow you decide that I'm just going to avoid it. I'm just going to avoid it. I'm going to avoid it. So you keep delaying at it. You keep delaying it, sorry. You just keep delaying. You find yourself tomorrow, and then tomorrow really never comes. You find yourself, telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow. I will do something tomorrow. When you find yourself in constant procrastination mode, what are you avoiding? Instead of, berating yourself for procrastinating, why don't you sit down? Why don't you sit down and ask yourself, what is it that I'm actually avoiding? Face this truth for yourself. Face this truth, look into the mirror, get a journal, tell yourself, what is this thing that I'm actually avoiding? Misalignment lingers where decisions are delayed. A few weeks ago, we talked about, what it is that you want to do, your life being a decision. A lot of times it's not that you're procrastinating, but you haven't yet made that decision. You haven't yet made that decision. And the honest truth is that delay is very expensive. The more you delay, the more it becomes harder. The more time goes, the more the more you don't enter into that, which, you see, you can get to a state where misalignment becomes your normal life. So everybody, you now becomes your identity, because you've worn it so much. So you don't know how to align. You don't know what steps to take. And that's okay. And that's why we're here. We help you, to find that point where misalignment has happened, and to help you to align again. It could be a point in your story. It could be something that's happened in your childhood. It could be something that you can't even put your finger on it, and that's where you need someone who would guide you through a process and help you to pinpoint that, okay, this is it. This is what I'm avoiding. Sometimes what you're avoiding is not even so clear to you. What you're avoiding, what you're putting off, it's not even so clear to you, because you don't even understand why these things are happening. The sound of dragging feet, that's number 4. Energy misalignment. When you find yourself dragging your feet through life, you're doing you're doing the right things, but you're constantly in the wrong state. That's a misalignment. There's no excitement in your house, there's no excitement on your face, there's no excitement around you, there's no lightness. Is there anything that you're doing? I said it earlier, anything that you're doing with heaviness, you're not going to go far with it, because you can't go far with the heaviness. Heaviness will only put you down. Heaviness will only drag you. Heaviness will only, put you in a place where you're like, why am I here? When you wake up to do something, like, you say, for instance, you had a trip coming up. You had this beauty, your husband had booked this beautiful trip. The kids, he had found childcare for the kids. And then it was just you. Could have been maybe just you, solo trip, or you and him. And then, there's this excitement that comes. Oh, I'm going to, let's use Bali for an example. They said there's going to be all day, as unlimited massages. You're going to just eat what you like. Nobody's stopping you. Can you even feel the excitement in my own voice? I'm actually smiling because I'm like, that would be so nice. That would be so nice. And it's the same thing. If you don't have that kind of excitement through life, you do not have any kind of excitement waking up, doing what you do, being happy about what you are, where you are, then there's an energy misalignment somewhere. When you do things just share, barely out of just, obligation, then there's an energy alignment somewhere. There's an energy alignment. So burnout is not always from doing too much. It's from doing what doesn't fit. What is in your life right now that is causing that energy misalignment? Just think about it. What's taking your strength? What's taking your energy? What's taking your joy? What do you need to drop? What do you need to drop? Energy reveals alignment faster than results. If you were going to be preparing for that trip, you would see how excited you are, especially if you love to travel. You love to go to new places. If you're going to be preparing for that trip, you will see how exciting that trip is. You will see how excited you are. You will be so you'll be raring to go. You'll be raring to go. Energy reveals alignment faster than results. When you find yourself dragging about your purpose, your assignment, whatever it is that is in front of you, there's a big misalignment somewhere. There's a very big misalignment. Anything that you're excited about internally, it will show in how you do the work. The sound of a skipping song, emotional misalignment. That's another misalignment. The fifth misalignment I want us to look at. You keep repeating the same cycles, different situation, but the same frustration. Your frustration remains the same. Oh, I don't like where I'm working. Oh, I don't. Oh, this or that. Unfortunately, I live in a place where it feels like mourning is just part of the culture. But I had to tell myself, no, you can't moan about everything. You can't moan about everything. Different situation, but the same frustration. Are you frustrated with where you are right now? There may be an emotional misalignment. When life repeats, it's not punishment, it's a lesson waiting to be learned. I remember growing up, I learned a lesson. It says you keep on getting the same lessons if the same situations if you don't learn your lessons. So you want to learn something. There's a part that maybe you're learning patience, for instance, and every time something comes to stretch your patience, you fail. You will repeat that test over and over. So until a lesson is learned, you will keep on repeating that lesson. So if you don't understand your patterns, if you don't know how to break out of your patterns, if you don't know why things are always repeating, different situation but same frustration, you don't understand why things keep on repeating, your life would and the beauty about it, or not beauty, is that life will keep going. I keep saying it, whether you do it or not, whether you pause to heal, whether you pause to do what you need to do, whether you pause to record your patterns and break out of it and seek help when you need to seek help, life will still be going. Some people don't get that opportunity in their lifetime. They keep just repeating it, and then they say that they call it names. They call it names, and the names now start becoming a label, and the label becomes the identity. But the good news is that you can stop your patterns at any time, at any time, at any time. It's something that we do in our becoming her program. It's something that we help you to see, right? You start with your story, you tell us your story, we help you to see how even those patterns were installed in the first place, how those patterns came about to be in the first place. When life repeats, it's not punishment, it's just a lesson waiting to be learned. And unfortunately, if we don't learn that lesson, we'll continue to repeat that pattern. What is unhealed will always be repeated. I was talking to somebody this morning, and I was saying that the reason I'm passionate about the work that I do, the reason I'm passionate to see me women, get healing, the reason I'm passionate is because I have seen what trauma can do. I have seen what misalignment can do. I have seen what building a life that you don't want, you want to escape from can do. Why don't you build a life that you will enjoy living, that you're excited to wake up to? Because when you build a life that you're not enjoying and you're not excited to wake up to, the honest truth is that it builds all sorts of resentment. It builds all sorts of, it builds all manners of resentment. It just kills you slowly. It kills you slowly. Slowly. It feels like you're living. It feels like you have everything that you need. But are you actually living? When I say, hey, mamas, let's start living, there's a reason for it, because living is beyond just waking up in the morning and going through the day. What are you living for? What do you need healing from? What patterns do you need to break from your life? Misalignment is actually not failure. So I don't want you to listen to me now and say, oh, I drag my feet during the day, I do this, all this that she has said, this is me. It's just feedback. I keep saying it. Your emotions are data. It tells you what you need to what you need to address. Misalignment is not failure. The fact that you don't feel excited about life, you don't wake up and you're excited to face your day, you don't wake up and there's nothing that you're living for, you don't wake up and say, oof, another day to whatever it is that you do. It's feedback. If you're going to work and you're feeling stressed about going to work, you're feeling stressed about everything, it's just feedback. There's something there that needs to be checked. There's something there that needs to be checked. It's your life saying that that's not it. You see, our body, I've been reading a lot, and I've been reading a lot, and people say, there was one I particularly read, and the person said, your body knows what it needs. So it was talking about food, really. Your body can heal itself, that God created this body, so wonderfully well, and everything that the body needs, the body can heal itself. And it was saying, sometimes we just don't listen to our bodies. We don't listen to our bodies. So sometimes, your body is saying, look, I really need to sit down and rest. But you're like, let me just keep going. After all, I'm, strong woman, African strong lady. But your body is saying, I demand rest. Your body knows what it needs. So when something doesn't feel right on the inside of you, trust me, your body knows. Your body knows what it's saying. Your body knows it's trying to tell you something. So misalignment is not failure. It's even a good thing when you start to feel off, because then if you're used to pausing and you're used to reflecting, then you know the kind of questions that you need to ask to know what exactly it is that is being fed to you. So it's just feedback. The problem is not that life is hard. The problem is that many people are fighting for a life that is not even aligned to who they truly are. Do you know who you are? Do you know why you're here? Do you know why you're born? Do you know what purpose it is that you're meant to fulfill? Or are you just going through your days like nothing matters? That all that matters is just going to work, taking care of the children, taking care of the family. But what is it that when you are doing, you are most alive? You're most alive. These are questions you need to ask yourself. So ask, don't take it as failure, just take it as feedback. So we're going to be doing a realignment path. What's the solution? Awareness. The first solution is awareness. Listen to your body. Stop numbing your body. Stop numbing your feelings. Stop numbing how you feel. Have a journal. I keep saying it. Journaling is a very good way to express yourself. So you're not looking for, it's a good way to express yourself and over time see your patterns. No, numb your feelings. Listen to your body. Where does my life feel first? Ask yourself, where does my life feel first? Where does it feel like I'm forcing things? Ownership. And then admit it. Don't try and give excuses, because that's another thing. In wanting not to appear weak, it's easy to just say, this thing doesn't apply to me. Admit it. Stop blaming. You don't need to blame anybody. You don't need to blame yourself. And just start owning. What have you outgrown? And what are you still holding on to? Ask yourself those questions. And last thing that we need to do is action. Action. Stop waiting and start moving. Clarity comes as you move. If you stay there and you overanalyze and you overthink and you overprocess, you will not move anywhere. It will still, the heaviness stays, the heaviness will be there. So start moving, start doing the things that you need to do. Just start moving. Ask yourself one question. Why is one aligned decision you can make this week? What is one aligned decision that you can make this week? Ask yourself that question. Alignment is not a luxury. I will close with this. Alignment is not a luxury. It's the difference between living and merely functioning. So when I say, hey, mamas, let's start living, I know what I'm saying. Like I keep saying, I've seen so many people who grow old and they are not very happy. Not because they haven't lived a good life, not because their children turned out bad, not because anything, but they have not lived to the fullness of that which they were created for. So hey mamas, let's start living. There's a reason for that call. There's a reason for that call because a lot of people, a lot of times, what we do is to just go through life. We make money, yes. We go to work, yes. We do everything. But beyond that, what can you say about your life? Living and just merely functioning. So they go to work, they do everything. It's just function. But can you ask yourself, am I truly living? Am I truly living? Because when your life is aligned, you don't just look okay. You feel the peace on the inside of you. You feel the peace. Your body knows when your life is aligned. It stops to, you know that there's this thing that happens when there's a misalignment. It feels like you're constantly searching for something. So you're constantly not at peace, constantly moving from one place to another, looking for, looking for something. You can't even name that something, but you know you're looking for something. You know there's no settledness in your heart, if there's any word like that. Your heart doesn't feel settled. You don't feel content. You don't feel this is what I'm doing. This is what I should be doing. There's this search because when the body hasn't felt what it's supposed to be at peace in, it will keep searching and searching and searching and searching and searching and searching. So I don't want you to just survive. I want you to flow. I want you to live a life that is rich. I want you to live a life that flows. And that's the sound worth creating. The sound worth creating is a life that flows, is a life that is living fully, is living with purpose, is living beyond functioning, beyond survival, a life that is healed, a life that, you know, is full. Your heart is full of joy and laughter. It's not a hard life that is not hard. No, it's not the hardness. Because even in alignment, when things are hard, you're still happy to go through them. You're still happy for the process because you know that you're in the right place doing the right thing. So this is why I want us to, this is where I'm going to draw to a close and invite you one more time to our Becoming Her program, because the next phase of your life requires a new version of you. If you're here, you've listened to me, you're heavy, you're feeling your feet drag every day, you're feeling yourself, you know, you're not living the fullness of what you have been called for. This is me calling you from a place where I have been there once and I have found a way out. Come, let's walk this journey together. You're not going to be walking through it alone. You're not going to be doing life alone. It's not worth it. Even, you know, when we say journal, that we give you guided prompts that help you to pinpoint exactly what it is that you need to be doing. So join us in our Becoming Her program. It's not about being louder, it's not about being busier, it's about being aligned. Alignment speaks softly, it makes your body, you know, it gives you strength from inside. So if you're ready to stop forcing life and to start living it, join me. Join me. Hey mamas, let's start living. And I'll see you next week Friday. Well, I'll see you soon. I'll see you in my DM. The link to our Becoming Her program is on this bio. I will be seeing you because I know that this message is for someone and you will choose the right choice. Thank you so much and do have an amazing, amazing afternoon.